Now let's do some word problems that use Venn diagrams. I'm actually going to do example 2. I'm going to save example 1 for you guys to try because it's a little bit easier because, as you can see, it only has 2 categories. So let's look at example 2 here. We are asking students what class they liked. So we've got history, English, and math. So let me just label these guys. Doesn't really matter which one you put where. So I've got history, English, and math. There's a lot of numbers here. And I'm going to tell you what we want to do is we want to start in that intersection. We want to start in this little middle piece. So the number of people that liked all 3. So I'm going to start with those 3 people. And then I'm going to work out from there. Next, I want to kind of like a flower, like with the different petals, or onion with peels. I'm going to work my way. I'm in the inside, the core, and I want to work my way out. So I'm going to do these next. These are still intersections, but they're not of all 3. So this one says 7 people like history and math. So that is this area right here should total 7. Right now I already have 3 people in it, so that leaves me with 4. I've got that whole total has to be 7. 3 people are already accounted for. I would do the same thing for the other ones that are like this. So history and math, that total has to be 5. I've already got 3, so that would give me 2. And 8 people liked math and English. Still got that 3 in there, so 8 minus 3 gives me 5. I'm going to keep working out. Now I've got the very outside, no intersections, just plain history, plain math, and plain English. So 18 people liked math. Here is my whole math circle. There are already numbers in it. I need there to be a total of 18, but there are some numbers already in it. So just like before, I'm going to subtract everybody that's already in it. So that's just going to leave 6. Now what this tells me is 6 people liked only math. 4 people liked both history and math. 5 people liked just English and math, and 3 people liked all of them, is what that tells me in the math circle. Now in some of our problems, we might actually see the word only. I did not in my directions up here, which made this one harder. But if you saw the word only, we wouldn't have to subtract. For instance, if it said 18 people liked only math, I could just put the 18 straight in there because that only means just that part of the circle. Only is just that one little part and doesn't include the rest. The rest of them are going to work the same. 19 like English, so if I think about that entire English circle, there are other numbers already in there. So I'm going to subtract those off. So I'd have 19 minus 2 minus 3 minus 5. That's going to leave me with 9. And then history. Again, there are already numbers in there. So I'm going to subtract those off. If you get one of those problems in my math lab that uses the word only, you don't have to subtract. That step's basically already been done for you. Now that I've filled in my Venn diagram, I'm going to answer the questions down below. So the first one, I know how many students were in the survey. That's all the students, no matter what category they're in. The order that we're adding doesn't matter. I just wrote them all down there, every number that I saw in there, and that gives me 36. And then I actually already answered this question, how many students liked only mathematics? So that is the 6 that is right there. Those 6 people liked only math. Now up above, I've got one for you to try. It's not exactly the same. They're all a little bit different. For instance, this one just has 2 categories here. We've got stocks and bonds. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it out. That way yours will be on the same side as mine. You won't get confused on the numbers. So why don't you hit pause and see if you can finish filling this one in. Let's see how you did. This one they told us there were 1,000 investors, and it was determined that 600 invested in stocks, 575 in bonds, and 300 in both. So I'm going to start in that middle with 300. 575 were in bonds. I don't want to just put 575 in there. I've got to subtract the 300 that are already accounted for. The reason I know to do that is if I were to add 600, 575, and 3,000, it would be more than 1,000. I said there's only 1,000 people, so there must be some overlap. It also did not say the word only. If it said only, I could skip the subtraction part. 600 invested in stocks, but again, I already have 300 in that circle. We want to know how many invested in only stocks. Well, that answers 300. That's the one I just did. Now, this question is a little bit different. So if you didn't get to this one, that's okay. How many students did not invest in either stocks or bonds? Well, there was a total of 1,000 investors. 300 were only stocks. 300 were both. And 275 were only bonds. Oops, 1,000. 1,000 minus 300 minus 300 minus 275. That leaves me with 125 people. And those people are out in our universe. We talked about the universe in the last section. The universe is everyone that's being included. So all those 1,000 people. In this last one we did, our universe was the 36 people. Everybody surveyed. There wasn't anyone that was floating around the outside. Technically, these 125 is kind of hard to see. We draw our universe. It's the stuff that's inside the box, but not in the Venn diagrams.